Hello, John from Peter Tyson. I love it when shiny new goodies, or in this case, velvety new goodies, come into stock and arrive here in the studio for me to play with. I was very keen to unbox the Technics SC-CX700 powered speakers. Could this be the perfect minimalistic do-everything system for you? Let's find out and crack on. The Technics SC-CX700 are a pair of active powered loudspeakers consisting of a primary speaker with all of the connectivity that connects either wirelessly or via an Ethernet cable to the secondary speaker via your network. Both have their own amplifier on board, so will require mains power. And that's it, you have an audio system. No extra boxes required if you want to keep things clean and simple, as there is a very good streaming engine built in too. Connect to your internet router either wired or wirelessly and you have access to Chromecast, AirPlay, Spotify Connect, Deezer, Amazon Music HD, Tidal, Qobuz, internet radio, and they are room ready too. There is Bluetooth. I suppose it's handy in a pinch if you find yourself without a network connection for some reason. But to get the best out of a quality system like this, you are far better using the network streaming for the best experience. They are extremely well connected speakers. On the primary speaker's rear panel, there are a host of connections for anything you might like to connect up. Optical and USB audio for perhaps a CD player or computer, HDMI ARC for your TV sound. This would make a fantastic alternative to a soundbar. The analog RCA line-in with very capable moving magnet phono stage built in. There's a subwoofer output, which will come in handy for much larger rooms, or if you just want that extra low octave of the deep stuff, particularly for movies and gaming. Control, like most systems like this, will more likely be done primarily with your phone, using your favourite music app. There are various physical buttons on the top panel of the primary speaker for power, mute and volume, whilst each source gets its own touch button for easy switching. The very nicely finished remote control is a nice touch too, giving you quick and easy access to the most common day-to-day features. The Technics Audio Center app will guide you through the setup process. It's all very straightforward. It lets you integrate the music services I mentioned before, change source and customize the sound. Alongside basic tone controls, you have Space Tune, setting your speaker's position to free space, close to a wall, in a corner or in a shelf. This will adjust the bass response from the speaker accordingly to compensate for their physical placement. If needs be, you can individually set this for each speaker too, just in case they're placed differently to one another. You can use Auto. This uses a test tone to read the room and measure the response, setting the speakers for you. And a further measured mode uses the microphone in your phone to take measurements from your preferred listening position. As I filmed this, it was only available on iOS and not Android. It is all down to trial and error, play around and see what sounds best to you. The auto self-measured test tone was quite effective and made the speakers a little bit more dynamic sounding. Personally, I found that the relevant standard position presets work just fine in my room. Probably what I'd use for long-term listening. This sounded a little more natural to me. Talking of sound, it's delivered through the air and to your ear holes via what Technics call a phase precision driver 4, essentially a two-way coaxial speaker driver consisting of a 15cm mid-bass woofer and a 1.9cm tweeter mounted in the centre. This type of driver gives a point source sound. All of the frequencies come from the same position in space, giving a better integration and smoother frequency response, as well as a more precise stereo imaging and a broader sweet spot. Done well like in the Technics, and the sound is very good indeed. To help in the low end department, the CX700 utilises a front-firing bass reflex port. Generally speaking, this also makes placement a little more forgiving than some rear-ported speakers. The cabinet is interesting too, not only for the very touchable Dynamica microfiber material that adorns the cabinet, but the internal Technics acoustic solitude construction. This means that the speaker and the amplifier sections have their own separate structures within, to help isolate from each other and minimise sound quality damaging vibrations from the speakers reaching the electronics. Add in 60 watts of amplification for each mid-bass driver and 40 watts for each tweeter, and the Technics SC-CX700 are not only compact, good looking and well connected, but gutsy enough for most situations and rooms too. These systems are becoming increasingly popular, and for good reason. They're convenient and for the most part can sound very good indeed. I think they look cool too. With or without the grills, they are very smart and well constructed. I have the rather bold terracotta brown that looks almost burnt orange in the flesh. I think it looks quite funky against the green studio wall. What do you think? For something a little more understated, there is always charcoal black or the silky grey finish. I was a big Technics fan back in the 1990s when my hi-fi journey began as a teenager, so I do have a little bit of a soft spot for this badge. I really like them. I found them hugely entertaining, more so than some of their obvious rivals, naming no names of course. Dispersion is wide and engaging, making them just as good for sitting in the sweet spot critical listening as they are for just filling a room with sound and you get on with life and do other things. I'm not sure I've heard low end as taut and brilliantly controlled from similar compact active speakers. They're certainly impressive. But at the end of the day, my opinion is irrelevant really. I'm just presenting the facts to you, and you shouldn't trust online reviews alone. I highly encourage you to go and have a listen for yourself if you can. You want a demo here at Peter Tyson Carlisle? That's what we have a showroom for. Give us a call and we'll have them set up ready for you. Until then, you'll see me in the next video. Take care.